Hey everyone, welcome back to Josh Murray Reactions. Thanks for being with me here today. I want to talk to you a little bit about the port strike that's going on. This is a big deal, and I think we need to talk about it a little bit, and I want to hit some key points about what's going on. So, what's happening? Ports on the East Coast, Gulf Coast, they've all been brought to a halt right now, and it might seem like it's maybe just not a problem because it's not happening in your area, but you're going to start seeing grocery stores, maybe local auto shops are going to be affected. So what does it all mean for you and me? Let's talk about it. Okay, first things first, what's actually happening? Tens of thousands of dock workers are on strike, and this is bringing major U.S. ports to a standstill. These workers are fighting for better wages, better working conditions, and after months of negotiations with shipping companies, it's kind of broken down and hasn't gotten anywhere. So what's the result? It's a full-on stoppage. And these ports handle over half of the U.S. cargo trade, and that's a big deal. That's a lot of cargo that's not getting into the United States. So, what do you need to know about it? What does it mean to us? And what does it mean for Middle America? Well, experts are saying that for the first week or two, there's not going to be much difference. We're not really going to feel it yet. But after that, certain goods might start disappearing from shelves. Things might start slowing down. Things like bananas, things like auto parts. Electronics are expected to be one of the first big things to be hit. Look at big companies like GM, LG, IKEA. They're reliant on all these imports that come through the ports that are now on strike. If the strike lasts longer than 2 weeks, you might start seeing higher prices and shortages. So you may want to plan a little bit ahead for that. What that looks like, I don't quite know. We're probably gonna have to find out. Now, should you be worried? This thing called panic buying. It starts to get tricky here. So in some places like Phoenix and parts of Texas, people are already starting to panic buy, right? The toilet paper, the bottled water have been flying off the shelves, kind of like what we saw during the pandemic. But experts are telling us not to really panic. The real impact wouldn't hit for a couple of weeks. There's no need to empty your grocery cart at this point for the apocalypse, because it's not an apocalypse. And really, your toilet paper is made in America, so you don't need to worry about that. But if you think you need 300 rolls of toilet paper at home, who am I to judge? Now, just on a personal note, if you're a coffee fan like me, there could be some concern here, right? If you need your coffee or your caffeine fix in the morning, look out, because coffee is one of the top imported goods into the United States, and it mostly comes from places like Brazil, Colombia, and Vietnam. A lot of coffee comes through the ports affected by the strike. Now, while coffee isn't a perishable or a fresh produce or something like that, delays in shipment could mean that we see shortages or price increases if the strike drags on for weeks or months. So, if you're serious about your morning coffee or your morning brew, it might be a good idea to stock up a little bit on your favorite beans, just in case. I might, who knows? But we all know how important our coffee is in the morning. So, what happens if the strike continues? What happens if this goes long term? So if it keeps going, the impact could stretch far beyond, a few weeks. Experts say that every day the strike lasts, it could take up to 5 days to clear the backlog. So think about that. Every day the strike is happening, 5 days for it to get back on track. So if it goes on for a week or over a month, it takes a long time for that to get back on track. So that's just for the ports. We're not even talking about the supply chain yet. That could take even longer to catch back up. But we could see shortages on everything from cars to electronics to basic home goods. Industries are going to feel the pinch the most, and unfortunately that means the cost of goods might rise even higher after the strike ends. So these are things that we need to be watching for. Now, what should we do? That's the question of the day. What's our response to this? First of all, I don't think there's a need to panic at this point, but you may want to make some smart purchases, maybe stock them up on some essentials that you don't want to run out of. Maybe your coffee, maybe if you need to get your car fixed soon, you should maybe do that now rather than later. Maybe if you're looking to buy a new vehicle, you should do that now rather than later. But remember, panic buying only makes the situation worse for everyone. So be strategic, not scared. Let's not go out and just start ransacking the shelves. But think about perishables, things that are important. Maybe your water, maybe your toilet paper. Get some extras, but don't go over the top. Now, this does have a political effect as well, right? It wouldn't be a major U.S. issue without some politics. And we're right in the middle of the election. The Biden-Harris administration has shown support for the dock workers, which aligns with their pro-union stance. However, this strike is happening just weeks before major elections, so there's a lot on the line politically for them. And on top of that, former President Trump has already been criticizing the strike, blaming the current administration for inflation and supply chain issues, which is not a surprise. We're already going back and forth and using this for political gain. But it's not just an economic issue, it's a political one as well, and both sides are trying to capitalize on it, which again is no surprise. So brings me to my next point. When is this going to end? How long is it going to go? And that's the million-dollar question. Right now, we don't have a clear idea. Negotiations are happening, but it doesn't seem to be coming quickly. But if they don't reach a deal soon, we could be looking at several more weeks of this. And remember, it's not just about the strike ending. The recovery time is huge. This could take well into November, December, January, depending on how long this takes, right? It could be that long before things get back to normal. So, let me give you some final thoughts and kind of wrap up what we talked about. What's the takeaway? The port strike is a serious thing, and while it's not causing immediate chaos, the longer it lasts, the more we're going to feel it. But there's no need to panic. I don't think we need to panic right now. Keep an eye on the essentials, like your coffees, but make smart purchases, be strategic, be patient, help each other out. Let's get through this together. So, let me know in the comments if you've noticed any changes from your local stores, or are you worried about anything in particular? I'm going to keep an eye on the situation, and I'll keep you up to date on what's going on, but I'd love to hear if there's anything going on in your specific area. Let us know where you're from, what's happening, and maybe what you think about the whole thing. And don't forget, if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any updates on this and other important news that we may be bringing you. Always appreciate you watching. Thank you for joining us, and have a great day.